focused we are on following the training plan and all that jazz. For me, this is my first week back in cycling shoes. In fact, today is day number 3. Got a little bit of pain specifically in the left foot. This is post-surgery, so since October, this is the first time I have been in bike shoes. A little bit of soreness in the left foot, specifically kind of where the carbon sole of the shoe kind of comes up, and unlike in regular shoes, in cycling shoes, they pretty much come up and kind of wrap around your foot. And I think I need to heat mold these and take just a millimeter, a little fraction out of the inside edge on the forestep of the left foot. Pretty much exactly right where I had the surgery. I don't know how much of that is still from the post-surgery swelling, which the doctor says could last up to a year, or how much of it is maybe this is what actually caused the issues to begin with. It's kind of irrelevant because I have the pain and I'm going to need to do something about it, and I might as well try rather than just sit around and complain about the pain, right? So it is an FTP test day. I actually got permission from my coach, Amber, to recreate the workout we did on Thursday. So the group ride from Thursday, any of you who joined us for the BASECAMP group ride on Thursday morning, rode with me, or Thursday evening, rode with, I don't know who rode then. I am actually going to redo that workout. It is basically pretty low in power, but there are 3 high cadence ramps. It was literally called BASECAMP High Cadence Ramp Workout. I felt shitty going into that workout. We're kind of coming off of a rest week going into the test today. My legs felt like crap, my lungs felt like crap, my head felt like crap, just all over. And by the end of that workout, I literally felt like, in fact, I probably should have gone right into an FTP test and just done it then. But it was my first day in shoes, and I didn't want to overdo it. I didn't want to push too hard, and I knew testing was today, so I waited for today. But I asked my coach if I could recreate the workout and do it as a warm-up, and at first she said, that's pretty atypical. That's not a standard way of doing it. And I said, well, yeah, but I'm a pretty atypical person, at which she kind of laughed and said, yeah, you're right, you are. And then she said, and I told her, I said, look, I found that it really takes me over an hour to get warmed up. And she admitted that it actually takes her about an hour to get warmed up when she competes or, does anything of importance or significance. And so then she said, well, yeah, you can do it, but maybe skip a couple portions or something. I read the yes, and then everything else was kind of like, oh, well, she said yes, right? So she did say that I can, or that I should, skip certain portions of it. I honestly, Amber, if you're watching this, sorry, I didn't pay that much attention. I think that this workout is not a high stress workout. It does a really good job at warming up your muscles and your lungs and your cardio system and everything else. And like I said, at least on Thursday, I felt pretty good after doing it and felt like I was ready for an FTP test. Today may be different, but as Amber ultimately said is, hey, you know what? It's just a test. Why not try it and see how it goes? And so that's what I'm going to do. It's about an hour. Well, it is an hour of a warm-up, although there's a kind of an extended cool-down at the end of it. Then I'm going to ride for a little bit more, get off the bike, end that workout and then go into my FTP test. If you look at the screen above me over there, you will see that, well, you can't see it underneath the blue, that little blue bubble there. But that's the workout that I'm going to do. After that, it says there's a 2-hour FTP test. A lot of that 2 hours is endurance riding after the test. I'm doing an hour before the test. And honestly, I don't have a whole lot of time afterwards. Besides that, I'm thinking I'm probably going to be pretty toasted. But I do have some, I've got 3 bottles of water over here ready for me. I do have some Enervit isotonic gel, which really isn't much of a gel. It's a little jelly. I have some Martin, the white pack of gel. Actually, I've got 2 of those. I've got some Martin, the black pack, which is without caffeine. The white is with caffeine. And I have some, I've got a Picky Bar sitting here right now on top of my tablet, but it keeps turning it on. So I'm going to move the tablet. I need it somewhat accessible, but I don't want it to I don't want anything to fall off my little desk table here. So yeah, I'm kind of pausing because yeah, I'm just procrastinating from getting on with it. So I'm going to walk up to the screen. We're going to look at it really quickly here. So I'm going into my BASECAMP high cadence ramps, which is this workout right here. I'm going to click on it. So we've got a warm-up, 3 minutes. Then we got the 3 fast pedals. Then we've got 10 minutes at 130, and then we do the ramps. So the power, you'll see it's 140, 160, 165, 170. So there's not a lot of power baked into this. And then we've got 5 minutes at 125, and then we do that 4 times, and then actually only a 5-minute cool down. It was yesterday's workout that had a really long cool down. So yeah, then I'm probably going to ride for a few minutes. Then I'm going to go, and I don't know if I'm going to open this here FTP test or if I'm going to actually go into the ZWIFT FTP test. They're basically the same deal. So you'll see right now, right here, my FTP from my last test is set at 216, which is down from my high during the season, but up from the test I took about a month after getting on the bike. So where am I going to ride? I think there is a world in Watopia, because I'm probably going to stay in the same world for the whole thing. And I don't want a lot of descending, because that will make it harder for me if I'm doing my FTP test. I'm obviously going to be in incline mode, and it's going to make it really hard to manage my power if I've got a lot of variation in there. So some people like to do it on a climb. I prefer to be in control. I've got enough gears that, so what in the world, there is a world in here that I've done multiple times that is, I think it's this one here. It goes out and back. Yeah. That's the one I'm going to do. Because it's flat, which means that I can manage my own power. I can manage my own, well, destiny. Not very important for the workout because I'm going to be in erg mode the entirety of the workout, but it is important for the FTP test. And I assume I'm going to be in the same world for both. I'm not sure how that works because I've never done it like this before. I've never done a workout before an FTP test. I've always used the FTP test as my workout. But today is new, today is different, today is special. Today is wow. Huh. My left knee. I don't know if that's from the first day I had the cleat on this shoe, on the left shoe. Hey, B. George said, right on. The cleat on my left shoe was loose, and so my foot was moving around a lot. So on a lot of my my cycling shoes, I have to use really wide cycling shoes because I've got a really abnormally horrendously wide foot. So I typically have them, when they make the shoes for me, I typically have them put the 4-hole cleat bolt pattern in because I ride on, well, 4 screw cleats. I use speed plate pedals. So I need speed plate cleats, which have 4 bolts to hold them on because they're rectangular in shape. The cleats themselves are. And so, waking up. So I get those so that you don't need an adapter to modify from 3-hole to 4-hole, which raises or drops or lowers, whatever. It moves the cleat a little further, not a lot, but a couple millimeters away from your shoe. So it extends it some. So in general, you'd think, well, gosh, the 4-hole pattern, which is designed for speed plate cleats, must be better then, right? Well, as I was fixing my cleat yesterday and then examining them today before I started this very video, I noticed that with these 4-hole cleats, and then so I noticed that there's actually rubbing on the carbon fiber lower sole of the shoe. So I noticed that it's rubbing, and so inside of the cleat, the pedal is rubbing on the shoe itself. So then I looked at another pair, actually my newest pair of cycling shoes that also have 4-hole pattern on it, and same exact thing. So I have a custom pair of shoes that are not yet being built because my surgeon told me not to have them built with the forms that I made pre-surgery because he said that the shape of my foot will be different. So I'm thinking that maybe I should put a 3-hole pattern on there you know, for, well, pretty much every other cleat that exists in the cycling world, and then use the adapter that comes with every set of Speedplay cleats, because almost every shoe only offers a 3-hole pattern. Because while it lifts the cleat away from the shoe by 1 or 2 millimeters to add that adapter in it, I gotta spin up. Wait a minute. Oh yeah. Huh? This workout looks different than they normally do. So I've got 1 of 3 of these. So it should be at, I think, usually they tell you how much your cadence should be. So when I did this group workout on Thursday, it was about this time that the computer that runs the game up there, something happened to it and I lost the screen. The game was still running, but you couldn't see it. I could see it on my big screen. But you couldn't see it. It was just black behind me over here. So I got down during the workout, during the group ride. I stopped, got down, ran up there, tried to fix it, got back on my bike. It looked like it fixed it, but it didn't. Started pedaling again, caught back up to the group, had to get off the bike again, jump off, got it fixed, hop back on the bike. And so the beginning of the workout looked crazy when you look at the workout file. Afterwards, my power was up and down, and I had like 0 to 300, 0 to 300. Hey, is that a Roadrunner over there? Right up there? You see him right there? Oh, my hand doesn't reach that high. That was a Roadrunner. Gotta watch out for Wile E. Coyote. So yeah, my warm-up spins were like, I don't know, 300 watts instead of, what was that one, 170. But, like I said, by the end of the workout, I felt really good, like I would actually be ready for the test. So that's what I'm trying today. That's what I'm going to make happen. All right, here we go with the second fast pedal. Spin it up. It doesn't say how fast. I'm thinking they want it at or above 100. Spin it up. Whew. So, yeah, I was talking about my shoes, I was talking about my cleats. I'm thinking about going back, because even though it lifts it 1 or 2 millimeters off the bottom of the foot, the bottom of the carbon, It's almost imperceptible, and obviously you can manage that with your, with your saddle height 1 or 2 millimeters higher. But if you let too much rubbing, you got friction in there. You've got wear on your carbon shoes, which aren't cheap. You've got wear on the pedals, which aren't cheap. So yeah, I gotta think about that. Man, I wish I had that, I don't know what it's called. Looks like one of those Vicks inhaler things, but it's filled with all kinds of like botanical crap. Opens your sinuses up. Okay, here we come up on the third and final fast pedal before a workout that's focused on fast pedals. So here we go. Man, I don't know why the bike is so wacky today. Maybe it's the cyclist, not the equipment. "15 seconds to go." And actually, this is the maximum power during these intervals. So, basically, this workout is just an extended warm-up anyhow, really. Whew. So now I got 10 plus 1. Before the interval actually starts. So today, in honor of BASECAMP FTP testing, I'm wearing last year's Santini BASECAMP kit. Which I personally like way better than this year's BASECAMP kit. Not by Santini. There is an issue with these jerseys specifically. The pockets in the back are really short. And actually kind of small. So you can't fit as much like nutrition in your pocket when you're doing, a long ride. A long unsupported or minimally supported ride. And my other phone, not this flip phone, but the other one, literally less than half of it fits in the pocket. So I'm always concerned about it falling out. All right, so now we have 10 minutes at 130 watts before the quote-unquote workout, before my extended warm-up gets underway. which is 1, 2, 3, 4 intervals of progressively increased, I think both cadence and, if I remember from Thursday, our cadence increased each minute and the power only slightly. So it goes from 140 to 160 to 165 to 170, then 5-minute break, then do it again, then a 5-minute break, then do it again, and a 5-minute break, then do it again. So 170 is pretty much like right at the minimal, at the bottom tempo range for me. So I think I've been trying to come up with a strategy for this FTP test. I have done tests where I've basically just gone in with no plan, with no prep whatsoever, although I always find that I have to spend, when I have no plan, I have to warm up longer after the 5-minute VO2 test. I always find that, number one, my lungs hurt, which, yeah, you're doing a VO2 max test, of course, but just everything's not lubricated yet. So I usually end up spending, I don't know what the test itself gives you, but I think it gives you 20 minutes, maybe less than that. I usually end up taking like a half hour. Of just like pedaling like this, well, maybe a little bit more than this, but to get me really warmed up and ready for the FTP test. Today, I don't have that excuse, and so I'm going to be following the workout as it's laid out. Which we all know is going to there will be a cost associated with it. What that cost is, I don't really know. It may end up being a benefit. I think the added warm-up is definitely going to be a benefit. Because again, like I said, like right now I'm kind of like huffing and puffing a little bit, but that's just because my system's not really up yet. And it's going to take 2 or maybe even 3 of these before my body finally recognizes that, oh, you want to work? So I got 5 minutes and 50 seconds until that first cadence ramp. And again, for those of you who are just now joining us, this is my this right now is my warm-up before I get into the meat of the FTP test. So I'm going to spend 41 more minutes warming up before I warm up and then can follow the actual FTP protocol. So yeah, other than with this Santini kit, I'm bouncing around, aren't I? other than my complaint about the size of the pockets, because you know what they say about those Italians, right? Yeah, little pockets. I actually like the everything else about the kit. It still doesn't beat my go-to ASOS, specifically, well, ASOS for two reasons. Number one, the level of compression, although these come pretty close, if not match or even beat the compression. But the way they have designed or integrated, Ken Carl said, right on, thanks Ken. The way they have integrated the chamois into the shorts, where it's kind of sewn up at the top, and I don't even know if it's at the top, but like around the corners in the front, and bigger around the corner in the back, but the rest of it free floats. And so the theory being, and in practice I can attest to, the chamois attaches to your body, and if there's any movement or play in the lycra, then that is between the chamois and the lycra itself, not everybody else. It's completely sewn in. So if there's any play, those seams become the point where the friction happens, where the movement happens, and then the friction is transferred through those seams where all the stitches are, you know, like the two teeth of a saw, to your skin. Most of the time it's not an issue, but with the ASOS philosophy, with their method of attaching the chamois, it's never an issue. It's a little weird the first couple times you ride with it, because you're like, what the hell, they missed some of the stitching. They're trying to save some money here. But I tell you what, that's the way to go. And my guess is, if you look at some of the bibs that the pros use from their sponsors, whichever company it is, that my guess is that they have them custom made to follow that same stitching pattern, because you're not going to ride for 21 days with some chafing going on. So we all know that the manufacturers all customize their kit for each of the pro riders, especially in those like Grand Tour events, from the size and the fit and anything else that they want, because obviously they sponsor the teams, so that you and I watch them and say, oh, hey, Peter Sagan wears, I don't even know what kit they wear, but hey, Tim Cusack said, right on. So I'm 37 seconds away from the first ramp. My heart rate's 133, 134 going into this. Hair Bear says right on. So let's watch what it does from 135, my heart rate. Hopefully it's going to tell me what my cadence should be. Shit. Oh. No, this is the first one. Get ready for the ramp. I'm pretty sure this is the first ramp. And I have no idea what my cadence is supposed to be. So when I did the group ride, you don't load the workout, you actually do the workout that's preloaded for the entire group. And it specifically told us. And if you look at my data file, it is absolutely, like, you know, dead on with what they told us to be, because I was focused on following the workout. And you're still not freaking telling me. So I'm just following the workout. They're not saying anything about the cadence, and therefore I'm just kind of making it up. But it kind of bothers me that it's not telling me what it is supposed to be. Especially since I'm doing this as the warm-up for the FTP. Hey, Pete Berg says, right on. So I got 10 seconds left, and then we actually step up again. Faster now, but it doesn't say what. That bugs the shit out of me. You got a workout that's called high cadence ramps. So you should be telling me what I should be ramping the cadence to. And I don't remember from Thursday what they were. So the next one, I think I'm going to start, let's see, 85, 95, 105, 115. I'll try that. They weren't huge jumps, I do remember that. Let's go 80, 90, 100, 110. So this one I'll try to stay right around 110. So in my testing, I do plan on, I'm not sure of the actual plan yet. I got an hour to decide that. I do plan on varying my cadence throughout the ride. I think what I'd like to say is 4 minutes high cadence, 1 minute low. But I know I've done that like in the last test. And I was not, the first 10 or 15 minutes, I did a pretty good job at following that. But in those last 5 minutes, maybe in the last 10 minutes, man, I was just messed. Because you're trying to hit a power number, right? And I think my power number is going to be somewhere between 240 and 250, but I don't know. My legs definitely hurt way less than they did yesterday so far. Now, that being said, yesterday was much higher output of power. Where today we're not really. See how I'm like breathing hard after just some fast spins at 170 watts? Like I said, it'll be like the third one, or maybe not till the fourth one, where my body finally wakes up and says, "Oh, yeah, hi, how you doing?" and it's ready to match me. So my plan is, first one 80, second one 90, third one 100, fourth one 110. We'll see how that goes. I really wish those cues were there for me, but whatever. It's really not that big a deal. Whew. M-Seepal says, right on. I can do that now when I'm soft pedaling for 5 minutes. I promise you, I'm not going to be able to do any shout outs for people that give me a thumbs up during the test. I'm going to be gasping for every breath that I can get. So, by just putting cycling shoes back on for the last 3 days, my form on the bike is different because my feet have been in shoes that are a different size, that are very soft, like the entire sole bends, right? So when you step on the pedal, your foot kind of flexes, like the bones actually flex around, well, the joints flex around the pedals. Both at the heel end and at the toe end. And I found out that those pedals that they send you with the Wahoo kicker bike, because I don't think they actually plan on anybody really riding with those pedals. They're really cheap plastic pedals. The spindle's aluminum, but they're cheap plastic pedals. And so that plastic actually flexes just under your, when you push on them. Obviously, the higher the power, the more they flex. All right, I got 1 minute left. So 80, 90, 100, 110. I'm actually down to 133. Now actually up to 135, 136, really? Well, that is either because I just took a drink of water, or that's pure anxiety at play, knowing that this is coming up. Maybe a little bit of both. All right, so 80, 90, 100, 110. So I'm currently at 90. So I'm going to slow down to 80. I do not enjoy particularly low cadence work, especially low cadence, low power work. It's just not my comfort zone. I have been getting better at low cadence, but it's definitely not in my it's not in my comfort zone. I would say I've got it in my wheelhouse, but I use it sparingly because I'm not that good at it. Alright, now I'm ramping up a little too quickly here. I'm 8 seconds away. H. Baggerson, I think it says right on. So now 90 is my... I'm just, actually, if you notice my eyes, I'm pretty much staring at the cadence number, trying to keep it right there, or as close as I can. You'll see it's bobbing around a little bit, and as I lose focus, thinking about something else, it moves a little bit more. But generally they tell us it's like a 10 RPM swing when they give us a number. So if they say 90, it's really from like 85 to 95. Yeah, see that? I just was focused on getting sweat off my head, and all of a sudden that was harder. So now I'm going to go up to 100. Which this here, like, I would say maybe 90, I don't know, 96, 94, I think 96 to 110. So just right around 100 is kind of my go-to. Like if I'm not watching it, if I'm not monitoring it, if I'm just out riding and I happen to look down at my computer, I'm usually pretty close to about 100 RPM. Now, the entirety of this last block of BASECAMP, ooh, that hurts, was focused on low cadence. So I noticed, now 110, I noticed that definitely affected my upper cadence comfort some. It lowered my average cadence, is what I'm saying. Maybe just temporarily, but I know it's an area that I need to work on and an area I need to focus on, because I know that I can efficiently and effectively create power over long periods of time at about 100 RPM. And I can go faster when I need to. I can go slower when I need to. But I need to be able to effectively and efficiently generate power at 80 RPM as well. Again, all right, so 149, so about 15 beats per minute difference there. If I can effectively and efficiently produce power at 80, then I could go lower when I need to, like as low as 60, and go higher when I need to. So if my 100 can come down to 90 and my 80 can come up to 90, then I've got an effective range where I can efficiently produce power from 60 up to like 118, let's call it, 115. Which obviously makes you faster, which is what cycling's all about, right? We're all looking to get a little faster, to gain just a little bit of an advantage over our buddies on the group ride. Hey, there's that, where is he? He's way up there. He's moving fast today. Where is Wile E. Coyote? He's got to be chasing after him. I bet you he's up there with an Acme bomb. You see that rock over there with the ball on top of it? I'll bet you. Watch for an explosion and for that to come down and land right on top of Wile E. Coyote. You see any Acme boxes laying around? I don't see any yet. We might be safe, but I'm keeping my eye on that thing, just in case. Hey, Dave. I am. It's going to be a little over an hour. What time are you going to your thing? Oh, and? Yeah. Nice. Yeah. All right. Well, I will call you. I will call you when I'm done, and we can talk about it. All right. Bye. So obviously I got that phone call and was distracted, and I missed the transition into the 5 minutes slower, but my heart rate's 134. Got a minute left. At some point, I think I'm going to eat one of these Martin caffeines, but I think I'm going to wait until I start the cycle of the FTP test, because I really want it to kick in about when it's got caffeine and obviously lots of carbs. And I think it's 60 grams of carbs. See, my comfort zone, I keep creeping up the cadence. It's supposed to be below 80 because this next segment is at 80. Not 86, not 88. So this should be like 70. Or nothing above 75. Now that I'm coming into the start, good time to think about it. Okay, 80. 80. It's really hard to focus on these lower cadence. So it's not a lot of power. And so my natural inclination would be to speed up my pedaling and shift a couple of times until I meet a resistance that would be equivalent to like an endurance pace for me, right around 175 to 180. Really hard to stay at 180. At 80. Okay, I'm now 90. 90. There we go. I think I did pretty good in the last one because I was thinking of my cadence and I was really focused on it. 90. So 90 is kind of like that friction point for me, where it's like 80, I just feel like I'm not doing anything. 90, I'm like, you're like right between gears. And it's like you want to switch. Am I going to speed up or slow down kind of a thing? That's where 90 is for me. Now 100. And again, 100 is definitely more comfortable. It's kind of like you almost sort of have to think about it. I think my tendency would be to spin up a little more, especially at only 165 watts. But on Thursday, when I did this group ride, I followed the numbers pretty much exactly. or as close as I could get to them. And like I said, I felt good. I'm trying to recreate that feeling, like to get into that, zone where your body's kind of like humming. I don't know if that makes sense. It's like not numb, but it's, the pain's gone. 110. D Bala Wood, Balsa Wood, says right on. 110. Yeah, so right in that zone where there's like no pain, like your endorphins are firing enough that they cover up any thing that may be there. Your blood's pumping enough that you don't have any lactic acid or anything else building up. And you just feel like you could go like that, like forever, right? When I stop, I gotta get 2 towels. Damn, I didn't even think, I'm a moron. W. Terry says, right on. Right now I got 2. All right. So right now I should be below 80. T. Thomas says, right on. I mean, it's only a 2-hour workout basically. This hour and then about an hour for the FTP test. I don't really need a gel. But to the extent that I may get some performance enhancement out of it, which arguably, you want your FTP to be. T. Celine says, right on. You want your FTP to be high so that you're getting the most out of your workouts and that you can go faster when you're riding in your group ride. But at the same time, you kind of, J. Pascalosi says, right on. You kind of want, I don't know. When you're in a training block and your FTP goes up, your training gets way more intense. Even for the same workouts, but now your FTP goes up 20 or whatever the number is, and your zones are all changed now. But you go through the pain for the next block, for the next 4 weeks, and all of a sudden you're stronger again. Or maybe you just hold on to it, but you probably don't lose any in the next block. The next block, I know, is more cardio focused, higher cadence stuff. And while I said that's kind of my go-to, the drier air in the winter and just cardio stuff in the winter scares me a little bit. But I guess if I get appropriate warm-up, it doesn't matter. So the good news is I'm going to be done with that first bottle of water by the end of this workout. I am sweating quite a bit. probably going to turn at least one of those kicker fans on. Got a minute left. I'm riding at 75-ish. So I'm doing this one right. And like I said, I'm starting to get that. It's not numb. It's like a tingly. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird. But like when you get into that physical zone and you're not overexerting, you kind of get to a point where, I don't know, just everything's kind of clicking and going the way it's supposed to. It doesn't happen very often. I started getting this feeling at the end of the workout on Thursday, which is why I wanted to do it today, which is why I'm doing it today. F. Grezel, I think I said that right, said right on. All right, so now 80. I'm almost there already. For 1 minuto. Yeah, I notice that I kind of have to focus a little bit more on my knee. FB says right on my knee alignment with my cleats. In other words, I was able to get pretty sloppy before without them, which I knew. Like, I was moving my feet, like not just the angle, but the position forward and backward on the pedal, side to side on the pedal, to a point where I would rub my foot on the crank arm and it would almost fall off the outside of the pedal. So I know I was being sloppy, but now I gotta find that zone again, 90. I gotta find how my legs should be properly aligned before I go see Coach Camille in Winter Garden in March. Actually, 90 doesn't feel too bad right here. Focusing more on the upstroke. And it's almost like you literally don't have to push down on the pedal. I wish we had like pedal dynamics on the kicker bike. It's pretty advanced to ask from a trainer. 100. See, now I'm focused on the downstroke and I can feel way more pressure. Let me try to do the upstroke. Now 100 is a little too fast to focus on. But I can literally feel the balls of my feet and my toes lifting up because I'm focused on the upstroke. So now I'm trying to just be somewhat neutral. Definitely more on the downstroke. V. Kelly says, right on. I know I've missed a few, but I'm trying to focus on my cadence. So if I missed a shout out, I apologize. 110. Alrighty, 5-minute cool down. I don't know. I got this muscle right here. I don't know if that's due to the shoes. I think it is. Just the alignment where my shoes are locked into the cleats, or where the cleats are locked onto the pedals. Because on speed play, you adjust them at the shoe, at the cleat. The amount of float. So, I am in the process of deciding that I will probably ride the GFNS, the Grand Fondo National Series, at least the first 4 events. So the first event is in March. It's in San Antonio, Florida, which I go, says right on. For anyone who has ridden the Cross Florida, we literally ride through San Antonio. Where on the Cross Florida, where you make the left turn and then go up the very first climb of Cross Florida, and then you get to the top of the hill and you turn right. The whole road goes right, and then you go through that stoplight about a little over a mile down the road. Right after you go through that stoplight, that's where this first Grand Fondo National Series race both starts and ends. So, D. Mullen says right on. So I've done that a few times actually. It's relatively flat, about 2,700 feet of climbing over the 100-mile race course. There are, if I think I remember, there are 4 timed segments on the route. And it's those 4 timed segments. Each one is approximately 5 miles long. Those 4 segments are the competition, are the race piece of it. The amount of time it takes you to get from one to the next is completely irrelevant. You literally can just soft pedal the whole way. I think there's a time limit for the whole event, but you can go pretty soft between those timed segments. Just focus on the timed segments if you want to win the race. The second one is in Helen, Georgia in April. T. Hart or Hurst says right on. Helen, Georgia is up in the North Georgia mountains, which is where they ride 6-gap. In fact, if you ride 6-gap, you ride through Helen, Georgia. So many of the same roads. That's way more climbing. Way more challenging. I honestly haven't looked at, I know the course because I rode it, or I was supposed to ride it. Jay Clifford says right on. Last year, and then between COVID and then I had some weird intestinal issues when I went to the pre-event the day before, and I literally couldn't get off the, I couldn't ride. But I did see the course. I drove through part of it. It's a lot of pretty challenging climbs. Nice road. But the descents, there's some pretty sharp, almost gravelly turns. that at least last year, they weren't really perfectly cleared. So there's some gravel on the road. So you got to pay a little bit of attention. I'm sure there's going to be traffic on the roads as well. But again, you're only looking for the segments on the route. And segments usually don't include descents. So it's probably not an issue of scrubbing some speed away. So that's March and April. May there isn't an event. June 7th, I think, is in, I think it's called Butler, New Jersey. I'm not sure. I think it's Butler, New Jersey. And I haven't even looked at the route. I don't know. I specifically haven't done that or even considered that in previous years because it's always about the same time or right at one of the heels of the Boulder training camp that I go to. And honestly, if it is, I would probably opt for Boulder again. Just because I think that actually makes a really big impact on my season. It's a miserable week of training in the mountains and dealing with altitude and everything else, but I think that week makes me stronger. And so, yeah, I don't know if it's going to happen. Last year it wasn't an official training camp, just a group of us got together and went out there and rode. And I'd be inclined to do it again. Maybe it doesn't meet up with that event. I like to take a few days to slowly get out to Boulder. Number one, so I don't spend too much time in the car and get my legs all tight. I like to drive out there. But also so that I can slowly climb up the altitude. It probably doesn't do anything for me. But it makes me feel like maybe I'm better acclimating. So, yeah. That is what I intend to do. Or whatever. That's what I would do if they conflict or if they're even too close together. I probably wouldn't do the New Jersey one. But then the July event is in, I don't remember that town in the mountains in North Carolina. You're probably shouting it at me right now. I don't know, maybe you're not, but yeah, it's in North Carolina. It's really hilly. And although it's in the middle of the season of the Grand Fondo National GFN series events, July is their championship. And so the events after that are qualifiers for the following year. One of those events in the end of August or September, early September timeframe, is in Colorado, and then the one in like October is in, I think, Northern California, which looks like a really cool event. I'd like to do it, but like I said, I prefer, if I'm going to a cycling event, especially right now with all the corona restrictions and hassles at the airport and everything else, I'm apprehensive of shipping my bike or flying with my bike because I've had a couple destroyed that way. One flying with it and one shipping it. So, and I don't know. I just feel like I have more control over my travel. I can drive for 6 or 7 or 8 hours, stop, either do a bike ride every morning before I get on the road, or after I stop and check into my hotel, then get changed and go put a few miles, 20 miles, or even ride for an hour or two wherever I am. Get to explore some new roads, get to maybe, but probably not, meet some new people. But I enjoy doing that. So, driving out to California at the end of the year, I don't know if that's going to fit. I really don't know what this year is going to look like for me. I haven't made any definite plans. I like the idea of doing these 4 Grand Fondo National Series events. But I don't know if any of them are really going to fit into my schedule. I need to figure it out in the next week or so because, we're almost in February. So, yeah. I think I'm going to finish this segment, which right now it's saying is in about 30 seconds. Maybe I'll get up to 22 miles. And then I'm going to end this ride. I'm going to go take a leak because I just drank a whole 20, I think this is 27 ounces of water in the last hour. And quite a bit of caffeine, coffee this morning. So I will go take a leak real quickly, which I know you didn't really need to hear that, but too bad. And then I will come back and we will start the FTP test, which I know is what all of you are here to watch, to see, to experience my agony as I go through this test. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on, I think I'm just going to leave it the way it is. I'm going to stop. I'm going to dismount my bike. And I will hit end on this workout. So it will save it. And then I can load the other one. Come on. Menu. Average heart rate 132. Average power 128. $127 average, 22.1 miles, 1 hour, 8 minutes, 1.7 slices of pie, 498, let's call that 500 calories, but it's 498, 45 TSS. I'm going to click OK. I'm not going to rate that. I'm going to save this, and then I will be back momentarily, ladies and gentlemen. All right, ladies and gents, I apologize for that nature break. I'm going to go into training. I am going to go into FTP tests, the classic FTP test. Use erg mode. So erg mode basically is on through these. And then it shuts off for this, I think. And then it's back on. And then, so it's actually just the 20-minute. So here it's actually telling me to be at 240. And then go into the cooldown. So I'm going to click on, actually these fast pedals, look at that. They're shorter though. Yeah, so I'm going to do the classic. I guess it moved me somewhere else. And again, I don't want the descents. So I think I'm going to stay in the same, or go back to the same world. Did I click ride or not? It doesn't look like it. And I believe it doesn't start the timer until I start pedaling. But once I start pedaling, it doesn't stop. So I'm just going to make sure. Remember I said I needed 2 towels? I almost forgot those 2 towels. And as it stands, it looks like I'm going to get to have only one of these larger blue BASECAMP towels because the other one, oh, sorry, just off camera there. Yeah, the other one apparently, or the other 2 that I have, either are dirty or I just don't know where I put them. So I'm going to put that one there. I'm going to take this white one and I am going to put it there. I need to change the playlist that's playing in my ear over here because, frankly, it's called Intense Pulse. This one I think is a little bit better. I'm just going to check real quick. Is there another blue one here? No. There ain't. So, all right. I'm going to climb on the back. Huh, that locked quickly. I'm going to get clicked in. I have my nutrition there. I also have an apple. I am going to make sure that this works. Oh no, don't tell me that the battery's freaking dead on this. Give me a second for Apple to engage. I don't know if it's going to. Oh well, screw it. Ah, there it is. Yeah, it's dead. Actually, I should be able to unplug this one and plug this one in. The only reason it's important is this tablet is where I have my... But I am charging, right? It's where I have the Wahoo app. Okay, so it's given me 20 minutes of warm-up. I could skip. M. Siegel from BASECAMP says, right on. I could theoretically skip this here warm-up because I'm already warmed up. I am not sure that if I want to or not. So I'm going to think about it for a minute, and I can always... I'm not sure how you skip. There's a button I thought you could push. Maybe you can't do it on the FTP test. Maybe you can't do it when it's a ZWIFT workout. So I'm guessing that this here warm-up is a progressively higher, since right now I'm only pedaling at 70 watts. Probably no. I think usually there's like a fast forward button on the workout, and I do not see that here. Oh, maybe it's under map, fast forward? I think maybe it's under the map. Dave Powell says, right on. D. Schrader says, right on. B. Kickle says, right on. I don't think she said ride on. I think she said right on. Right on. Bonk, bonk, bonk. So, the other reason I'm saying, oh, maybe I'll fast forward to this, and again, I don't want to mess it up, because there's like 3 buttons. There's like a pause button. There's what looks like maybe it's a fast forward button. But then there's an arrow up and an arrow down. So I don't know if that's adjusting the bias, or if that is, doing something else. And I don't know. Pause, I think that's kind of self-explanatory. But the funny thing is, it pauses the workout, but it doesn't actually. Like the timer or the thing keeps running. It just doesn't count your mileage or what you're doing on the bike. So, I could skip through this, but the whole workout's only an hour and 11 minutes or something like that. So it's pretty much, I go through these fast, heavy pedals. Does that one say that's too small for me to read, 280 for 20 seconds. It's like 20 seconds at 195, 20 seconds at 240, 20 seconds at 280, 20 seconds at 195, 240, 280, 195, 240, 280, and then 5 minutes at 130, 5 minutes at 240, and then 10 minutes at 130 watts before the 20-minute test. So they want you to burn off all your ATP in that 5 minutes at 240 so that you're not influenced by your anaerobic capacity while you're doing your FTP test. Yeah, I mean, it's only 12 minutes, 13 minutes of this left, so I'll just do it the way it's written. My left knee. So, let's see, right now this pedal is all the way that way, so it's moving my foot all the way out. So, that's probably what the issue is. I can compensate for this test, but I probably need to adjust it and move the cleat a little bit in, or a little bit out, which effectively moves my foot further in on the pedal. Which the other one that I didn't adjust is all the way out. But for whatever reason, the screws had backed out of that cleat. Not completely, but it was just loose. K. Combs says right on. And so it was, the cleat was, it was on the shoe, but it moved. And so when I tightened it, I knew fore and aft where I wanted it. But side to side, I just left it wherever it was. And it probably adjusted when I unclipped from the pedal or walked across the. But nonetheless, I think if I think that's what the issue is. So this workout, it was supposed to be 2 hours anyhow, and so I did 1 hour of essentially of warm up. Now I'm going to do this 1 hour test. So that'll get me to what my prescribed workout was supposed to be. Because then I have to actually quickly nutrate myself, get my nutrition in my body, my post-ride nutrition in my body, drink a shake. I need to get cleaned up, and I need to go to a meeting. I go, says right on. Is that a German flag? I definitely need to reheat form this shoe and mold that part right there by my, I don't know what you call it, the metatarsal joint up there by my big toe. Just take, I gotta find the right size spoon, heat the carbon up, and just, it doesn't have to move much. I'm thinking from the feeling of it, actually a little bit at the bottom, and definitely at the side, but not the upper part so much. So I need to get kind of a small, like a baby spoon. And go inside the shoe, and I'll have to mark it first. I'll have to spend some time riding with a Sharpie or some tape so that I can mark specifically where I need to make the adjustment, because you don't want to expand a part of the sole that currently fits well, and the heel cup actually feels like it's formed correctly. The what do they call that? The instep. Yeah, kind of where the arch is. Feels almost perfect. It could be a little bit more, but I wouldn't want to adjust that by myself. I want, because that requires you to like hold your foot up and somebody literally to kind of take their thumbs and essentially massage your foot through the carbon to form that piece of it on your foot. And doing it yourself, you wouldn't get it right. I don't think. But this part I certainly can, because your foot's out of the shoe for that anyhow. So in 8 minutes, I move into all of the prep leading into the 20-minute. A whole bunch of 20-second surges. So I still have not come up with a strategy for my 20-minute yet, and I got to think about that a little bit. Like I said, the last time, and a couple times before that too, I did like 4-minute fast pedals by 1 minute of lower cadence, higher power. But maybe I do 2-1, 2-1, 2-1 throughout. So that might work. Maybe I'll try that. So 2 minutes of higher cadence, 1 minute at lower cadence, 2 minutes at higher cadence, 1 minute at lower cadence, 2 minutes at higher cadence, 1 minute at lower cadence. And again, the reason is it helps to kind of reset my heart rate, but is way more muscular demand. But it'll give me a minute every 2 minutes to stop and think, not stop, but regain control of my breath, maybe regain some control of my heart rate. And then the last 2 minutes, if I calculated that correctly on my fingers while I'm riding and talking, will be higher cadence. And then 10 minutes of cool down. So if I wanted to take some time off the ride, it would be that 10-minute cool down. But by that point, I'm going to need some pedaling to just settle everything down, I think. I'm a little sweaty. I think I'm going to take the hat off. I don't need the warmth on my dome anymore. But I'll probably wait for a couple seconds here. I don't have my core temperature monitor sensor on, mainly because I'm not using my Garmin and ZWIFT, and the iPad doesn't read it. So There's no reason to put it on, and it doesn't, like, that data doesn't actually feed into Training Peaks even through Garmin anyhow. So it's a source of in-ride data that is probably relevant, especially when you're indoors, so that you can manage your fans and whatnot. But it doesn't feed into Training Peaks, so you can't build a data set of that info to help you plan ahead of time or figure things out. So I don't know. I've got it, and I do wear it when I'm riding on my bike with my Garmin. I don't know if it works on the Hammerhead Karoo that is now owned by SRAM. I think I'm going to have some piggy bar. This is not a caffeinated. Problem with picky bars, they taste good, they give you good energy. It's a good mix of carbs and protein, but now it's not so much that your body has to work to digest it, but they're kind of chewy and they make your mouth water a lot, which even like right now without any real effort kind of interfere with your breathing. But it does leave a good aftertaste. Alright, so I'm just getting into the some deep breaths. K. Rosenbaum says, right on. E. Hill says, right on. Right on. So it's not giving me cadence. R. McLeod says, right on. S. Bailey says, right on. A bunch of people must have just finished their FTP test. Burn a little bit now. Yeah, it's getting my heart rate up there a bit. Holy crap. Oh, there are my legs. We're at 130, feels like working now. P. the backer said, right on. G. Salazar says, right on. a little nervous. Not nervous like, oh my gosh, nervous, just I'm feeling my legs. I'm at 130 watts. Just after that little, those 20-second intervals there. So after this 5-minute, and I don't know what this muscle right here is. I'm assuming it's because I'm wearing these shoes now. But it is what it is. It's only a 20-minute test. And I tell myself all the time while I'm riding, you can endure anything for 20 minutes. It's only 20 minutes. It's 4, 5 minutes. Or the way I'm going to do it today, it's 2 minutes, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 1 minute. So there's a countdown. I'm about to start the 5-minute. Trying to figure out how to figure out the 2 and 5 minutes. Alright, here we go. Maybe I can tag on with this group. Or the back part of this group. And Gut says, right on. It's 1 minute down. Deep Balsa Wood says, right on. Halfway done. Holy crap. This is gonna be torture, people. Whew. Heart rate's still at 153. It's coming down. But man, I've been done for 2 minutes. Oh, I feel so much better. Trying to figure out this 2 minute, 1 minute sequence. Got 5.5 minutes to figure it out. Man, that's a big ass group. you ready for this pain? I'm sitting here, why do we do this to ourselves? It's not about these 20 minutes. It's about the next 20 days. Okay, I got both fans turned up. Got a minute to go. I'm gonna do 2 minutes of fast pedaling, 1 minute of slow throughout the whole deal. And I know that erg is going to turn off coming into this, so it's going to take me a second to figure out my gearing and my power. I probably should have turned it off already, but I'm in the wrong screen. shit. Oh my fucking God. Heart rate's only down to 150. Man, my lungs hurt, my chest, my throat. Man, at least 3 times I thought I was done, but I pushed through it. Not as strong as I wanted to be. But I tried something different today. I didn't follow my plan that I came up with at all, because throat is roached. Like from here down. Oh my God. That was only 89 TSS? Really? Still haven't recovered.
Kelly says right on. M. Dorsch says right on. Jay Bolin says right on. Giuliani says, right on. Hey, sorry, I didn't catch your last name at all. Arg. Like, arg! A pirate from Canada, me matey. Man. That took everything I had. Like my legs are freaking rubber right now. Whew. Man, I'm gonna be toast all day. I don't have a whole lot to say, folks. I kicked my ass. Holy crap. Well, I didn't see what it said, but it did say I set a new FTP 120 something. Going into this, it was 216. So I don't know, up 10-ish, 8-ish, I don't know. But man, that felt like shit. I know it's supposed to feel that way, but I need a lot more work. It's a good thing we got 2 more segments left in BASECAMP. Whew. Rear. Let me go ahead and end this here ride so we can look at what it tells us. Oh man, my throat, my menu. My 5-second was not my best. My 1 minute was not my best. My 5-minute was close. And that was not the 5-minute, that was something else. That was my best 20-minute. Look at that. All right, 157 watt average, 31.2 miles, an hour 30, 812 kcalories, 2.9 slices of pie, and 103 TSS. That looks much better than, what did it say before I finished the ride? 80 something, or not even 80, was it 54 or something like that? That pissed me off. All right, so that was the torture. That was my FTP test. My throat is killing me, my lower part of my esophagus. My quads are freaking fried. My knees are finished. My calves are really stiff. My feet, because I'm now wearing my cycling shoes, hurt. My brain is fogged. And, yeah. It's going to be a long day. But I have a meeting tomorrow. I'm supposed to do, I don't know, a long endurance ride. I will do some of it. Maybe all of it. I think I have to look on Strava, because that's what really matters. I think I may have 60 more miles to ride. So, if that's the case, I may do a metric century tomorrow, just to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. But I don't know what my schedule is or how I'm going to have time. So, yeah. Thanks a lot for joining me in my misery today. Come back tomorrow about 10 o'clock and we'll have a nice chill endurance ride. Thanks a lot. I look forward to seeing you